Okay, get a couple of bowls of it. 5 firefighters being treated. Late this afternoon, Chicago's interim police superintendent addressed the media. We're asking what's being done to protect first responders.
And we're also tackling businesses trying to survive. It takes a lot of ingenuity.
Okay, well, let's get our stamp chat started. Tonight, we're going to talk about first day covers and cachet making. So I'm glad to see several very familiar faces on this Zoom chat. Casey, Joe, and Foster. Foster, my friend from my old hometown, Rutherford, New Jersey. So you see how stamps can connect people after many years. So, as you all know, I was a young stamp collector when I was a kid. So, really between probably the ages of 10 and 14, I still have my albums around. And when I was connecting with Casey Joe today to talk about doing the session, I went down to the archives of my Philatelic collection and found a couple of covers there. First off, this is interesting because it's a last day of issue, and I'm not quite sure what that means, but it's out of the Bahamas, 1970. I don't think I've ever seen a last day issue. Foster, do you collect any last day issues? You're muted.
Trying. I have a few last day issues. The USPS did a couple in the late 1990s, but it didn't last very long.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I'd never seen one of these before. I actually think this, when my
the cover
daughter
you have is a Marge. They did a lot of commercial mailings, so it's probably an advertising cover. There may even be an insert in it or whatever that was being sold by the people sending out.
Huh. There's nothing inside here, but you never know. I might be able to find it down in my basement. So that was one that I found, and then I found this one for the moon landing, and I believe because we lived. Well, my dad worked for a company called Consolidated Natural Gas that worked out of Rockefeller Center in New York. He was later transferred to Pittsburgh. I know he did a lot of business back and forth with companies in Pittsburgh. So he got this for me when I was a wee lad in Rutherford. So I just wanted to take those out and show you guys what I had in my collection. So it's good to see that we have a lot of different people on here. Some new faces. Good to see. Casey Joe, how are you?
Oh. I'm doing good. How is everyone? I am here with my cat Pandora. So if I'm looking off screen, she's probably the one distracting me for a minute. Yeah, I am a member of the First Day Covers Society, and I really enjoy First Day Covers. My first day ceremony was in 2016 for the botanical illustrations. So that was the first cachet that I made. And I really enjoy making cachets. I think it's a fun way. If you enjoy art, it's a way to get inspiration for what to draw or design and make something that's kind of special.
Have any things to show us?
Yeah. So let's see here. I've got a bunch of stuff that I can show. So this is one that I have framed. and it is the global succulent stamp. And I painted a succulent, and then I painted a globe. And that was in watercolor. And that one's painted directly on the envelope. And then some I have done, I actually paint as a painting.
Right.
And I have the painting itself stamped. And then I will make a postcard to go with that. I'll scan it and I'll print them as copies of it as a postcard that I can have canceled. So that's another way that I do this.
Things to look out for as we continue to grapple with a virus that is keeping us.
And I
Everybody
like
who's on here, if you could keep your if you're not speaking, if you could mute your microphone just to make sure we're not listening to the newscast behind you. Thanks.
But yeah, like I just like to experiment on with things, and so this is what I made for the dragons in, I think, 2018.
Right.
And this one I etched into a piece of plastic, inked it, and then these are all hand printed using a press.
Oh, nice.
So they're all a little different. There's just a lot of really creative things that you can do with this hobby. And then there's a lot of creative things to collect. I bought this one at a show, and the woman who made this one made the envelope. So it's entirely handcrafted, which is really cool.
Beautiful.
So I like to draw, and I have some watercolor paintings, some pencil drawings, and yeah, I do watercolor and pencil drawings, but some people will use, like they'll make their own digital graphics. They'll use photographs and photo editing software. This one is from the military working dogs at the 2019 APS stamp show. This one is by a friend of mine, and it is a digital drawing, and she printed it as a postcard. This is my cactus flowers, and it is watercolor and colored pencil, a mix of both. And one thing, I was able to go to this first day ceremony in Arizona, so this has the first day stamp, and then these over here are signed. The photographer who took the pictures that are on these stamps was at the ceremony, and I had him sign these stamps. So I have a first day cover, cancellation, and a signature of the artist photographer together on that one. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions for Casey? Open your mic and ask away. Too many shy people. Foster, talk to us. Your mic is muted.
Let's try it
There you
again.
go.
Am I good
There you
now?
go. You're good.
I'm going to try and hold this up in front of my webcam. It's actually one of the few times I ever used it, and trying to get the right angle on it.
You're pretty
This is
good.
The last first day cover I've serviced. On March 15th, the Postal Service issued Maine statehood. I had planned to go up to Augusta, Maine to the ceremony, which eventually got canceled. March 15th is also the birthday of Lloyd DeVries, who's our AFDCS president. So,
I knew I recognized the face.
I thought you might recognize it. Pete McClure, who's from Iowa Falls, Iowa, does all my cachets, put one together. The intent was I was going to cancel them up in Maine at the ceremony and send them out. That didn't exactly happen. So I sent them in the Kansas City Express mail and got them back last week, and have been sending them out to people who claim to be friends of Lloyd. I still have a few left, and if you go on Facebook, you can see how to get one for free. This one's the senior moment variety. You look at the Let's Celebrate stamp. I'd done 15 of them before I discovered I put all the Let's Celebrate stamps on upside down. See if I can zoom in. You notice it's upside down.
Yes.
It happens. So I serviced some more and sent them out to Pete the Cachet. One of my favorite parts is going to first day ceremonies. I'm very disappointed I couldn't go up to Maine, and worse yet, next week they're issuing the 2 new wedding stamps on April 2nd, which happens to be my birthday. That would have been the first ceremony I could have attended on my birthday. Right now, I can also claim I was at the last ceremony they actually held, which was for the Arnold Palmer one in Orlando. I drove 850 miles down to Florida to attend it. The Postal Service gave this. The stamp came out at the Pro-Am of the Arnold Palmer Invitational, and the Postal Service was kind enough to get us a free ticket. And I believe there were 7 stamp collectors there. I've probably been to about 400 ceremonies. First one I went to was before I was an AFDCS member, 1973. I went to the ASDA show in New York City and happened to walk into a ceremony. Since 1987, the first one I went to then was United Way. I've been to probably 10 to 20 ceremonies a year since. And now that I know how this works and I can show things, I'll probably go and grab some ceremony programs to show as well, because I know they are, and they're fairly close to where my laptop is.
Right. I understand that the USPS has canceled their stamp dedications, through all of April, I imagine.
Through the gardens that were going to come out in Delaware, right down. Anyone knows Bob Roop from Delaware? He was involved in the group that was setting up the ceremony. Fortunately, that one's, well, none of them are canceling it. They said they may hold them at future dates.
Right, right. But they're releasing the stamps on those days.
They're releasing the stamps. You can still get them at your post office if you're like me and believe that going to the post office is essential. So you can still get your covers, send them into Kansas City, and get them back serviced. Right.
Yeah, talking about first day ceremonies. I mean, I've had the opportunity to attend a few since I've been with APS. The first one in Omaha for the dogs, the service animals. That was very touching, and then was in Noblesville for the Purple Heart, which was really, really a great time.
I was at both of them.
I know.
And so was I.
Yeah, I know. We all kind of hang around. I see Tom hanging, holding up something. What do you got there, Tom?
From CPAD, way back when I was in King of Prussia. The first day of the happy birthday, best wishes on October 22nd. Yeah, 1982. That was the first day of issue ceremony. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, we can see it.
Move it up so you can see some more.
So did you make those drawings?
Nope, that's what they gave us.
Oh, okay.
I was there and I got this in a big envelope and I opened it up and I'm like, oh, wow, that's nice. They don't hand them out like that anymore.
No. How many, do you have any more?
The other ones, no, that was the year my twins were born. So between 82 and 2004, between high school and college, I was kind of busy. I mean, I had some somewhere up here. I have some first day of ceremonies.
Yeah.
One was up at APS with Foster for the which one was that, Foster? The 1, the 2, and the 5 hour Liberty
The
issue.
Statue of Freedom.
Statue of Freedom, yeah.
That was during summer seminar. It was a very nice little ceremony.
Yes, it was. All right. That's over in a different book, but I do have, I found another one. Foster book. Oh, I'm digging. Another one of these, you got a free program types, but I think that was the last one I really got out to because I was there on business. That was my girl's 11th birthday, and we were out that way. Whoops, there it is.
There you go.
Sports horses.
Nice.
So I did get this one while I was out there. So, Kentucky Derby Day. They were born. I ruined everybody's Kentucky Derby Day when they were born. The ambulance pulled up out front, and everybody wanted to know what was going on while the race was on.
Boy, I see a lot of new names and faces on this chat tonight. Is there anybody else who'd like to show us some things about what they have, or talk about covers and cachets? Just anybody want to chime in with any questions or information?
One thing I learned from the two of them there, Chucky and Foster, which I didn't realize you got the first day cover first, then had the cachet put on it. I thought it was the other way around.
You can do it either way.
Oh, okay.
If we're using a commercial printer, they're generally printed in advance. For the ones I do for the AFDCS, I service them. I mail them out to Pete McClure in Iowa. When he can't work in his garden or has to stay inside, he does cachets for me.
Nice. Hi, Vera.
Hi. I just moved from the Midwest to Washington State, and I have many dozens of boxes still to be unpacked, and now I have to move again. So anyway, I don't have any covers to show, but I thought I'd share a remembrance from a ceremony. Mm-hmm. Didn't attend very many ceremonies in the last 10 years because I was working for ATA, and I was always working the ATA table when a ceremony happened. Back in about 2003, I think it was around that time, the Lewis and Clark stamps were issued in 2 different places, one in St. Charles, Missouri, and simultaneously across the river, and I think it was Hartford, Illinois, where the Missouri and the Mississippi rivers come together. So I went to the one at Hartford, Illinois. There was literally no parking. It was probably 6 or 8 miles to a shopping center where one had to park. And I ran out of time because I'd driven a couple or 3 hours to get there. So I parked at a crossroads by a levee, a Mississippi River levee that was about probably a half a mile to 3/4 of a mile north of the visitor center. It was pouring rain, but having grown up on a farm, I knew that I could walk on top of this levee and get to the ceremony. So I'm armed with all my philatelic gear, an umbrella, and I was way too heavily laden. So I walk along the top of this levee to get there all by myself in the pouring rain. Unfortunately, I was sharing the top of the levee with many creatures who were driven up out of the ground by the rain. And these were what I would call earthworms that were at least an inch in diameter and 12 to 15 inches long. There were hundreds of them driven up to the top of the levee by the rain, and here's Vera trying to pick her way through the earthworms. Oh my goodness. It is one of the most interesting memories of my life. So the things that we collectors will do or put ourselves through sometime are just amazing. But I did make it to the ceremony and got my cover service there and returned to my car, a very, very wet thing.
Thanks for sharing that story.
I'm going to tell a quick Vera story. The first time I met her was at a first day ceremony. In 2005, I believe it was, they issued the a stamp showing USS Constellation in Baltimore, and Vera and her husband were going to be in DC for something or other, and we exchanged, I don't know if it was emails or messages on how she could get from Washington to Baltimore to attend the ceremony, and she made it. That's the first time I met her, and yes, that's 15 years ago.
Sure thing. I remember that day well.
I remember it was a hot day.
Oh, yes.
Foster's kind of a memorable guy, you know?
I had another very wet ceremony I attended. The first cachet that I ever tried to make, I don't remember the year, but it was the Great Lakes Dunes Nature of America series. Jay Bagalki was there, pouring rain, and the USPS was not very well set up, but they did have a large tent that had a lot of leaks in it. But I remember that ceremony too. Somehow the ceremonies I chose to go to were mostly on rainy days.
I can tell you about my favorite first day ceremony, and that was for the shark stamps that were issued. When was that? That was 2017. Yeah, 2017, and it was at the Newport Aquarium, Newport, Kentucky, but it's Cincinnati basically, which isn't too far from where I live. So I went down there, and they had the ceremony in the aquarium with the shark tank behind them. They had a guy come up and talk about sharks while there are sharks swimming there. And it was before the aquarium officially opened. So by signing up to go to the ceremony, they had limited people. You had to sign up early to go. But by signing up to go to the ceremony, we got to walk around the aquarium before it was open. So there was like no people crowding your view, and you just got to explore the aquarium, and that was a blast. Absolutely my favorite stamp ceremony I've been to.
So while you were speaking, I just decided to, I wanted to call up the Noblesville ceremony that we were at. Let's see if I can bring these up. Does everybody see my screen? Does everyone see my screen? Okay. Yeah, there's the Purple Heart, the post office across the street. That was the gentleman Mike, who was the veterans representative and a quartermaster after the ceremony at my hotel. And everyone, the people from the USPS signing the folks, the color guard who was there, very moving ceremony. That's when they were practicing. Oh, look who's that? Who's that? With your Purple Heart cover. I did my best to promote the APS by leaving a couple of issues at the post office. And there's the whole setup. There's our Bob Ziegler, who spoke at the ceremony. Again, Mike there. Oh, Casey got on again. And that looks like it's about it. So just thought I would
Here's the
share that.
ceremony, an autograph ceremony program from it. I was one of the people, got everyone, even remotely involved, the color guard, everyone to sign it. Let's see. See how that's showing up?
Yep.
There's they gave them out without a stamp. I added the first day cancel and went across the street to the Noblesville post office and got their cancel.
Nice.
Very nice, very convenient. Stamp show was across the street from the post office. Even better, Jay McGalkey had been there before me and had told them exactly what we were going to come over to do and told them to cooperate, and they listened. They also had a show program, and being the collector who has to cancel everything, I also put the cancels on the IndiePEC show program. That's the advertisement for their show next year or this year, and hopefully they'll have it.
Let's hope so.
That was a very nice show. It was a long drive to get out there, but I really got a bunch of good stuff. I may even go out again this year. I was impressed by it. Great.
Yeah, IndiePEX is kind of my home show because I live here in Indiana, and I'm actually going to be the local art gallery that I'm a member of. I'm going to be having my first day cover art on display throughout the month of October. So I'm hoping that I can invite some people from the stamp show down to the area where I live to come and see some of my cachets on display.
Oh, that'd be great.
And speaking of programs, this one's very special to me because I signed this program. I got to speak at a first day ceremony last year.
Nice.
That was very exciting for me.
I see you're missing one autograph on there, though.
I wonder if I can get him to.
Oh, wait a minute. He's on there. Mr. English is on there underneath your.
Oh, yep.
Yep. He only signed once. I know he's on here tonight.
But
yes, of course. I'm usually a two-timer on the program, but I only sign one time. So in that case, I think I signed the first one, but not the second one.
Maybe if you signed it twice, it would make it more valuable.
I'm not sure signing it once makes it valuable.
Scott is another one who's doing enough ceremony that his autograph will never be valuable. But I have a good collection of them by now.
I'm just happy to be a part.
Yeah.
Hi. So I'm in from north of the border. And growing up, collecting stamps, first day covers weren't a thing in Canada. In fact, I can remember adult collectors saying, "Oh no, don't collect first day covers." But we're kind of having, well, in theory, we're kind of having a big year in Nova Scotia this year. We have already hosted a first day cover ceremony for the I don't know if this will work, the colored hockey championship stamp. And the championship was among teams in Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. So anyway, the ceremony was done at the Black Cultural Center just outside Halifax, Nova Scotia. And it was a really well done ceremony. They had a number of descendants of the hockey players at the ceremony, and they put together this video interviewing some of the men who played in the league or had fathers and uncles who played in the league. And of course, in Canada, everything gets done in both French and English, so the type is very tiny on the back. And This was the giveaway at the end. There were big lineups from lots of non-stamp collectors for signatures, so I didn't get any, but we also had, this was the program for that. So the French, and then they do a flip-flop. So you get the French and the English.
Right. That's a beautiful, very nice stamp.
It's a really nice stamp. It was interesting that it really caught a lot of non-collectors' eye. There was a lot of talk about it in the papers, and just generally. I'd also, if it's okay, I have been collecting a Canadian stamp, and it came out in 1955, and this is one of the first day covers that came out. And I don't know if it comes across in the video so well, but the coloring, the shading is quite different amongst each variety of this. This cachet, it was a company that did it out of Regina, Saskatchewan, the Philatelic Supply Company. But I was able to find this. So same cachet, but somebody's done a pen and ink drawing on it. And there is a signature on it, Thorne, Thorne, but I haven't been able to find out anything about Thorne. If anybody on here knows anybody, knows who might know anything about Mr. or Ms. Thorne, I'd greatly appreciate any information. And I'm just going to put in one little promo. I am the Facebook person for the Nova Scotia Stamp Club Facebook page, and we have started home pecs. We are inviting people to enter one page and title page exhibits. It's just try to take our minds off all this that's going on, and thought it could be interesting for people to throw a one-page exhibit up. There's information on our Facebook page about it, and it's based solely on likes, Facebook likes. There will be a winner at the end of this, and I do have just a small prize for each winner in each category.
That's a fantastic idea. I just I was just messaging you. If you can email me the information that you have, we'd be happy to promote that on our American Philatelic Society pages and stamps.org.
I will. Thank you.
That's great. And thanks for sharing. That's great. Nova Scotia, is that the furthest, are you the furthest person who's attending this Zoom conference? I think so. Anyone else?
I got a question for Foster.
I'm on.
When was the first official day that the post office even started to use the word first day of issue? Because I have some that are first day of issues, but they don't say anything.
That would be the Northwest Territory issue from 1937, issued in Marietta, Ohio. Was the first time they used the phrase first day of issue on a cancel. Before then, they announced first days. If I remember right, Bill Gross has a first day of either US 1 or 2. So they've been around forever, but starting at least in the 1920s, they put out regular, such as the one, hold it up a little bit higher. Yeah, that one's Typex. At that point, the cancels did not say first day of issue. If I remember right, I may be off a day or two, July 14th, 1937, 3-cent Northwest Territory stamp, Marietta, Ohio, was when they started using it. They've now gone to various cancels. This is the latest cover from our Gravener chapter in Washington, D.C. And what it has on it's what's called a digital color postmark. It's the Arnold Palmer stamp. And since 2005, they've offered digital color postmarks. You pay 50 cents to cancel for them. In the beginning, people didn't like them, but I think they've really caught on. Actually, it's not the latest. The latest is Maine statehood.
Here's the one you're talking about, Foster.
That's the first use of first day of issue.
Yep.
This is our latest Grabner Chapter 1 for Maine statehood. Again, with the digital color postmark, you can either get that or
Put that up again, Tom. Put that up again. Wanted to make sure that people were able to see it. A little higher. There you go.
That's the first time they used the word first day of issue in the cancel. It was an older style machine. You notice there's actually 6 or 7 lines. Fairly soon thereafter, they standardized on 4 lines. And as recently as the pre-sorted star that came out last month, they were still using them.
Fantastic. Hold that up again, Tom.
Hey, I'm getting tired. I'm old.
When you're not speaking, when you're not
75 push-ups today. Come on.
I know. When you're not speaking, when someone else is speaking, Zoom takes the person who's speaking full screen. I just learned how to change that on my own. So I just wanted to have people see that before you put it down. Now you can put it down and rest your arm.
I did 75 push-ups already today. I have 25 to go to get my 100. So.
Well, maybe that's worth 5.
You doubt me? I'll take you out there and show you me doing them.
Maybe that can be a future Zoom session. We'll do
yeah, right.
Exercising for philatelists. We'll do that. We'll come up with one of those.
Well, well, it's the first day night, but yeah, I got something that I did in high school and college that I collect, and not too many yet, but I'm getting there. But we're talking first day covers.
So,
Wayne Youngblood's here. Except we can't hear you, Wayne. Oh, well, Casey Joe, keep going.
Since Jane mentioned having a home pecs stamp show, which is a great idea. I just wanted to let people know that if they're interested in making first day cachets and getting first day covers serviced, if you're stuck at home, you can still kind of do that. You have, I believe it's 90 days after a stamp is issued to send it in.
120 days now.
Oh, how many?
120, 4 months.
You have 120 days that you can stamp an envelope and send it to the servicing center in Kansas City and get a first day cancel. And the American First Day Cover website has all that information on how to do that. I know I made a cachet. I was stuck inside over the weekend. I was really disappointed that I missed my roller skating lessons. So the Celebrate stamp, I couldn't go to that, obviously. But I painted some roller skates and I made the wheels into the colored circles of the stamp, and I sent that in to be serviced. So hopefully when things get running again, I'll get those back and have those as a first day. And since the USPS actually films a lot of the first day ceremonies and puts that on Facebook, you can have that running in the background while you're working on your art and have the whole experience, kind of.
They are still working in Kansas City. They're still canceling covers. I've been sending a package almost every day this week. So we will get our covers back. and probably get them back fairly quickly, because not everyone's still going to the post office, but some of us are.
Anyone else? Any questions? Anybody have anything else to show?
Hi, nothing to show, but I just want to tap in and say hi to everybody. This is Charlene Blair. I'm here in Edwardsville, Illinois, representing, I guess you would say ESPR, since I am a director at large for ESPR, but some of you know me from Facebook, where I have my own nonprofit, the National Museum of African Americans on Stamps. So they call me the Stamp Keeper. So I'm literally working from home from my daytime job. But I wanted to get online. I was sent the link by Heidi. Heidi, is that her name? She works for APS, the content marketing person. So we're in touch on Facebook. So she sent me the link and, mentioned it to me. So I said, let me tap in while I'm, logging off work. So that's what I've been doing. I've been listening to you guys. And so I'm on my phone, but I was also trying to log in on my computer right now too, but just calling to say hi. I don't have anything to really share today, but if we keep doing this, I will make a point of sharing some items from my collection.
Now, ESPR, Don is a member of ESPR, and he makes.
Yes, he sent the email out today too. After I got it, after Heidi had already told me about it, and I mentioned to them that she had sent me the link and that I would log on and let them know how it went, or to maybe it's an option that they can do too for meetings or anything. But so I don't know. I was looking to see if anybody else logged on, but I see they didn't. But
I'm an ESPR member too.
I know I'm in the group that he sent it to. So I knew you were in Boston.
He knew I'd be here. So
yeah.
ESPR is one of the most friendly groups around.
It is.
Yes,
That's
I'm
why
a member
I joined.
also.
And they helped us, ESPR members helped us quite a bit with the February edition of the AP. Black History Month had a lot of nice articles.
That's nice. I've been sharing that with a lot of people too.
Great, yeah. I was just looking for Mr. Neal and his stamp story. He was a little. I sent him that message. I asked him to be part of one of our Zooms, and I think he's camera shy.
Well, I will let him know that you don't have to necessarily have your picture on there, because as you see, I didn't do mine. You don't have to have your picture. You can just, join in incognito. But it's fun to connect a name with a face, faces with names sometimes.
I'm going to tell Don I won't order his covers if he doesn't come the next time.
I was looking for his article in the issue. He's a great guy.
While we're talking ESPR, and I'll go ahead and show that first.
Yeah, there's Don. We'll put him on this Zoom, even though he declined to participate on camera. We'll put him on anyway.
Also in that, I think Bernice Fields has an interesting article. Now, she's a person who may be willing to join, and I definitely would have, some good content to discuss.
Yeah.
And I think Betty Lewis, also put one on there.
Actually, I'm in contact with Peter Schwartz and Calvin Mitchell, who did the lead story on that issue with the earliest depiction of Black history on U.S. stamps. I think Calvin may not be able to join us for some scheduling reasons, but Peter has offered to join us, and I think he may join us on a Zoom either tomorrow or sometime during the week.
While we're talking about Don Neal, here's his autograph from the ceremony we did at Southeast Stamp Expo. We had both Don and Warshall Faison, the ESPR president, speak at our ceremony. the show in Atlanta was the day after the Gwen Eiffel stamp was issued. So we had our own dedication ceremony. We had the local anchor woman who's been on WSB in Atlanta for probably, I think, almost 30 years speak. There were about 60 people at the ceremony. And what I found interesting was on Sunday morning, I didn't see this, but people told me how WSB TV, Channel 3 in Atlanta, did a feature on the Gwen Eiffel stamp, and they had a still shot of us dedicating the ceremony, dedicating the stamp to the ceremony. So apparently at least my picture was on TV in Atlanta that morning. This is the other side of the program.
Oh, that's nice.
I definitely encourage people who are running stamp shows to do ceremonies like this. It's a good way to draw people in. It doesn't cost too much to get a program printed. This one was done by Chris Lazaroff, who prints a lot of programs for ceremonies. If anyone wants to do a ceremony, get in touch with me. I can probably help. One thing you see here is something, anytime I run a ceremony, we have everybody autograph in a different color. So you see a program with lots of color and autographs, it's probably something I arranged.
Anyone else? The floor is yours if you're interested.
I'll show one more program here. Probably boring you with all the programs.
No.
The insert from the Arnold Palmer ceremony in Orlando a couple weeks ago. There was no autographing at the ceremony. Ceremony actually took place in the driving range and the golf course. Folks from national events got two autographs for us, for three of us. There are only 9 autograph programs in existence. The other 8 have 2 autographs. I stayed for the Pro-Am, and between the 15th and 16th hole of the tournament, I got Sam Saunders, who's Arnold Palmer's grandson and PGA Golf Pro, to autograph it. So this is the only one with 3 autographs on it. It was 90 degrees in March in Orlando, but it was very interesting watching professional golfers up close and personal. I've seen it on TV. Probably the only time I'll ever be at a golf tournament. The Pro-Am wasn't as attended as the other days, but so you can actually walk right up, talk to the golfers, watch it. It was really an interesting experience. In addition to attending the ceremony, again, Postal Service got us in free. Otherwise, it would have been $55.
That's pretty cool.
Hi, Wayne.
Are you getting my audio now?
Yeah, we got you.
Oh, cool.
Glad to see you.
Glad to show up.
Yeah. Well, Wayne's going to join us tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock on a Zoom. What do you, I know we've gone back and forth a little bit. What do you think is best for tomorrow for you to talk about?
Oh, I don't know. You mentioned the watermark article.
Yeah.
Or we could do EFOs, or we could, that's one of my favorite things, certainly. Or whatever anybody would like.
Will the other sessions, like tomorrow morning, be taped? Will it be recorded, I mean, for us to go back and listen to? Okay.
Yeah, we're recording. I missed one today, the morning one, but I'm recording all of them, and we're putting them on our APS YouTube page, so you can catch them, right after, and they'll be there for a very long time. So feel free to go back to the APS YouTube page to watch those. We're also putting a number of videos up on the YouTube page, and every night at 8 o'clock. So in 10 minutes, there's a YouTube premiere episode that you might want to catch. There's also a live chat with that, so you can interact with other people who are watching the video at the same time.
Well, I saw where the APS is sponsoring Graham now. Graham Beck, I think is his last name. That does
Yes, we
the
are.
exploring stamps. I love his videos. So I was really proud to see APS get involved with that. And I see he makes mention and gives credit to them sponsoring him now.
Yeah, he's done some really really enlightening videos, and they're so well done. That's what I really enjoy about them. Coming from a video background, I know that he's spent a lot of time making sure that those are just A+ quality, and he does such a nice job explaining things.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else have anything to add to the conversation?
I can show off an item I just ran into one of my many boxes earlier. This is one of my other favorite things is illegal uses of any kind, and so this one is two nice cutouts from stamped envelopes glued on the gas bill here.
Oh.
It's amazing what, these wonderful items. I don't know if anybody else is as disorganized as I am, but a lot of my favorite things show up like tires in a dump. They float to the top periodically.
Oh. Tom Bowman looks totally organized, though. If you look at the back there. You're muted. I'll unmute you. There you go. Unmute your mic, Tom. We can't hear you. There you go.
That's because you don't want to. No, it's behind me looks good. In front of me, no. Wait a minute. You think
So
I'm kidding?
That's not bad.
What do you mean not bad? Yeah, I didn't even open them yet.
I'm sure that closet back there is highly organized behind the doors, right?
This one? That's all my
No, the
covers,
one
all
the one that you
my
showed
covers.
that
The
one.
wooden
Yeah.
cabinet over there.
Yeah, that cabinet.
Yeah, that's expensive stuff too. It gets locked up.
Oh.
And when the grandkids are there, I put "Do not touch" all over it.
Charlene, I see you turned your camera on. Open your mic.
Okay, good. I'm experimenting too, learning how to use Zoom. So
Great.
tap to untap, and this is my little office. Of course, when you're working from home, you have a different attire, right? Sweats, pajamas, and all that stuff working from home.
Right. Yep.
Or Wells Fargo. But I appreciate that. I appreciate them allowing us to work from home.
Yeah. A lot of us are doing that these days.
Yeah. So I'm learning. So we tap and untap, and then we can go to the stop video and turn it back on and off. Cool.
Well, now that you've got it down pat, hopefully you'll have some opportunity to join us for more of these sessions and show us some things from your collection.
I have to find my mute button right there. Will do.
That's great.
Hey.
Go ahead, Kate.
While we're here, could Foster tell us a little bit maybe about the Cachetmaker contest that the first day cover or the first day society holds?
Okay. we have an we have an annual cachet contest for AFDCS members. The insert was in the January, February issue of First Days. The deadline is supposed to be the middle of April. May slip a little bit. And AmeriCover, which this year, of course, will be part of the Great American Stamp Show in Hartford. We announced the winners. There are about 17 categories based largely on how the cover was produced. Also, say categories like, say, tenant, non-commercial cover, event covers, foreign first day covers. Each category has a winner and a runner-up. Most of the covers that are in the contest that are donated to the society and show up in our fundraising auctions. And the winners of each category compete, and the winning entry is the best cachet of the year. And that will be announced at our President's Banquet, which hopefully will be Thursday night during Great American Stamp Show. But last year we had a unique occurrence with the contest. The top cachet winner also won Rookie of the Year. A woman by the name of Terry Hardin, who works for Disney, had never made cachets before, and she was convinced by some of the people out in the our Reese chapter in Southern California, start making cachets. And not only did she win Rookie of the Year, she won the grand prize. The information's on our website, www.afdcs.org. I guess next time we do this, so I'll have to grab some of Lloyd's bookmarks so I can hold them up in front of the camera. But the entry form is there. It's in the January, February issue of First Days.
Mm-hmm.
There are also categories for youth. If I remember right, 10 and under and 11 through 17. Youth entries do not have to be AFDCS members. Most of the time, the winners have been for a couple of different families. Chris Cowley's son and daughter have done very well. The son's off in college, is too old now. So we are definitely looking for some more youth entries. And again, if you come to AmeriCover or Great American Stamp Show, you'll see all the winning covers. I'm definitely hoping everything is calmed down by then, and we'll end up having a good show.
Yeah.
Joint show, AFDCS, ATA, and APS. Biggest stamp show in the country.
Yeah, let's hope everything resolves itself and we're able to get together in August. It would be a shame if we weren't able to, especially after this time when people are spending so much time at home and alone. It would be a nice way to kind of celebrate the things getting back to normal. So let's all hope it happens. It's approaching 8 o'clock here, so I just want to let everybody know. Thank you for participating tonight. It's been a great session. Tomorrow, Wayne is going to join us at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and I've got a couple of things that I just had to catch up with people on other sections for tomorrow afternoon and 7 p.m. tomorrow night. So stay in touch with stamps.org, and we'll be posting a schedule there tonight. So really appreciate everybody's time. Hope you have a great evening. Hope everyone stays safe and healthy. Good night.
Good night.